Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kaylie Behuniak.
My name is Rielly Malz, and on behalf of our graduating class, we would like to welcome you all to the 2024 Physician Assistant White Coat Ceremony.
As most of you probably don't know, Rielly and I had the pleasure of sharing our very first rotation together back in June.
Anyone who knows us is probably thinking, wow, that must have been an interesting and energetic experience.
And boy, was it. In one of our more memorable moments, I was rounding on my patients and discovered one of them to be very soundly sleeping. So naturally, as a student with approximately 2 weeks of clinical experience and zero experience with deep sleeping patients, I went to get Rielly to have her come help wake her up with me.
We really tried our best to wake her up, but in hindsight, our gentle whispers and soft shoulder pats probably weren't quite enough of an effort.
So we decided the logical next step was to get the nurse. And I simply stated the patient was not responding, which, looking back, I probably could have worded that she was in a deep sleep a little better than unresponsive.
Because boy, did that nurse take that bit of information and run with it, paging all doctors in the building to her room stat.
The room flooded with doctors, PAs, nurses. Rielly and I stood in the corner and looked at each other, wondering if this was about to be our last day as PA students.
In this moment, we felt an all too familiar feeling, worry.
And let me tell you, if there's one thing our class had a lot of, it was worry.
Throughout the past 27 months of PA school, we found ourselves constantly worrying that we might not be smart enough to pass the exams.
Or determined enough to power through the 3 a.m. wake-ups for our surgery rotations.
Or resilient enough to bounce back after a less than satisfactory performance on a quiz, test, or practical.
But for our class, the worry dates back far before the start of PA school.
The first time our class was together was in February 2018 at the PA Accepted Students Day. We actually sat in this auditorium listening to the then clinical year students present complex patient cases in a language that was completely foreign to us.
From the first day of general chemistry, trying to register for sapling, to learning how to strap people to a backboard and for transport in EMT lab, to dedicating our weekends to daily plant care to keep our bioscience plants alive for just one more week.
To getting sent home in the spring of our sophomore year and transferring our college educations to Zoom, learning how to configure our organic chemistry model sets, and holding human organs for the first time in anatomy lab.
As high school seniors, we all chose the PA career path on our own. Well, maybe with some help from teachers, family, or friends. But as 18-year-olds, we entered college as adults, ready to make it on our own, without really knowing just how much we'd rely on each other's support to ease the worries of are we smart enough, are we resilient enough, are we strong enough.
And now we sit in these seats in the same room where we have recently presented grand rounds presentations of our very own.
And as we enter the real world, as the newest generation of healthcare providers, we know that our hands will be full. Emergency department waits are long. It's nearly impossible to get an appointment with your primary care provider. And burnout's all too common.
We have quite literally dedicated our blood, sweat, and tears to PA school, which has felt like both the longest and shortest time of our lives.
The number of lecture slides reached record highs, the library group's study rooms were becoming less and less available, and the days in Blake 129 were long.
The hours of lost sleep were unforgivable, and the number of ridiculous mnemonics that we created to remember the side effects of medications is more than any of us would like to admit.
In short, it's been a lot of work, but we persevered.
It would be remiss of us not to acknowledge the people who have helped us get here today.
So we'd like to thank our roommates, significant others, siblings, for lending us their eyes, ears, arms, legs,
Thyroids,
as we practiced for every H&P practical.
To our families, we would like to sincerely thank you for all of your support along the way, and thank you in advance for all of your future support as we begin our careers.
We'd like to take a moment to thank the professors who perfected our physical exam technique and taught us that there are far more horses than there are zebras at the farm, and for the role they played in shaping us into the new professionals that we've become.
And to our classmates, may we all remain proud of how far we have come May we never lose the curiosity to learn something new, and may we always remember that we have the ability to make a forever impact on a life with each patient interaction that we have.
Like Rielly and I discovered on our first rotation, our support for each other extends far beyond the classroom. May we find comfort in knowing that our ability to lean on one another in moments of stress or worry does not end today with graduation.
Well, class of 2024, we stand here today to tell you that we were, in fact, smart enough, determined enough, and resilient enough to make it. Congratulations, we did it.